All right, fans. So today we're talking about how to stay locked in, man. A lot of people have been asking me this question. They're like, "Hey, man, how do you stay locked in?" Been getting this question a lot on TikTok Live. Been getting it from clients. Been getting it from random people on Instagram who follow me and who watch my stories. And they're like, "Dang, man, you always locked in. I've been following you for 5 years. You've always been locked in, man. What do you do, man? How do you stay locked in?" And the reality of it is, it's really a mindset, but it's also just executing, keeping yourself grounded, keeping the tunnel vision, on your goal. Like what your goal is, whatever your goal is, make sure you're reading that every single day. Make sure you're locked in on it. Make sure you're focused on it and you take it seriously. You want to take it very seriously. The thing is, wherever you are in your fitness journey, or if you've been out of shape, 40% body fat, 30% body fat for a long period of time, that's because of your standards, right? Your standards are like, you know what? It's okay if I'm 30% body fat because I get to eat whatever I want to. I'm kind of comfortable. You're comfortable where you are. Your standards are very low, and that's why you are where you are. Me, I have different standards. That's what makes my actions different. That's why you see me as locked in, but I see me as doing what I need to do to reach my goals. And I also see me as, aligning with my standards. You guys, a lot of you guys, like I said, you have these low fucking standards. Like you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. I could drink on the weekend. It's the weekend. I could relax. That's not my standard. My standard is like execution every day. Work out 4 to 5 times a week. Well, 5 to 6 times a week. Make sure I'm getting my water intake in. Always hit my protein 365 days a year. Minimum, right? Every single day minimum. Not taking weekends off and acting like it's a holiday or some shit. Weekends happen every week. Why do we celebrate it? It doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? So that's my thought process, and that's why my actions follow, because your actions are going to be a direct correlation of what you're thinking. Like whatever you're thinking, whatever your thought process is, whatever your mindset is, wherever your mind is set, that is going to be exactly what you're, how you're thinking, what you're doing on a daily basis. Like I said, if you're eating McDonald's, or if you allow yourself to have a cheat meal every single week, but you're 40% body fat, that's the reason you're 40% body fat. You're too lenient with yourself. Your standards aren't high enough. All right. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Like I said in the last video, it's super, super important to do that because it'll help you get to that next level. For me, my standard is being the best version of myself. I cannot be the best version of myself if I'm going through drive-thrus, if I'm skipping workouts, if I'm beating my meat 24/7. I can't be the best version of myself that way. So that's why my actions follow exactly how I think, right? And for me, for my standards, like I always say, my standards are just good nutrition. So you see the good nutrition in my store, I'm eating that every day and stuff like that, or I post it in the community tab what I'm eating on a daily basis, or TikTok I post my swipe post. That's just my standard, bro. That's just my standard. For a lot of you guys are like, man, oh man, like what do I do? How do I see my abs? Your standards are low as shit. Your nutrition's horrible as fuck. You're never gonna see your abs with horrible nutrition and low standards. Raise your standards. Take your goals more seriously. I'm gonna say this one more time. Take your goals more seriously. I can tell how seriously you take your goals just by how you look. That's why I said a lot of people respect when you're in shape, because they know you take your goals seriously, because everybody has the same goals. Everybody has goals, right? Everyone has goals. Whether they're at them or not, it's up to what they do on a daily basis, because life is a series of decisions, all right? And a lot of people try to convince themselves, like, you know what, I don't really want this goal, because they don't believe they could achieve it, but they still want that goal because they're still thinking about it, right? They're still following people who are at their goal physique. So back to what I was saying, how I stay locked in, it stems from my standards I have for myself, expectations I have for myself, right? And when something's expected, it's not celebrated. Like a lot of times, if you guys drop like 1 inch off your waist, or if you drop 2 pounds, or you hit a PR, or you eat healthy once, you celebrate it. For me, it's just my baseline standard. It's what I expect. So when I eat a healthy meal, it's like, duh, I eat a healthy meal. It's just part of my daily process. It's not a surprise. That's how I think about it, versus a lot of you guys are like, oh my God, I ate a healthy meal. This is so great. I got to celebrate. And then you eat like shit to celebrate you eating healthy. Or you drop 5 pounds and you celebrate dropping the 5 pounds by eating unhealthy. That's not how you stay locked in. You have to have an expectation of yourself. So when you execute it, you're like, of course I executed it because I did everything I needed to do. For example, if you're like, okay, I'm going to drop 10 pounds and 2 inches in the next, 2 months. And then you might drop it in 6 weeks and you're like, makes sense. I know I was going to do that because I put the work in. Let me continue to put my foot on the gas, right? That's where a lot of people miss. You put your foot on the gas, number one, and then you're getting to where you want to get to. And then you're like, you know what? I'm doing good. I like myself. What the fuck? Hey, I'm getting, at this rate, I'll be lean as fuck. And you take your foot off the gas and you stop doing what got you to the place that made you make the progress, which is crazy, but that happens all the time. And then guess what? You go back to your old habits and now you're out of shape again. So staying locked in is not you being the same person doing a few things. Like, you don't want to be the same person you are when you're 40% body fat, just doing healthy habits to lose a couple of pounds. You want to become a new person that these habits are second nature to. That's what locked in is. Because for me, when I was 226, out of shape, my standards were different. I was like, oh man, if I could just get to 200. Oh man, if I could just have a 33-inch waist. And then I just flipped it and I was like, you know what? My waist is never going above 32 again, period. You know, I'm going to be 195 lean and I'm just going to lock in. That was my standard. So during the process of me going from 226 to 193 and then eventually 183, in my head, my standard was me at 193. I was thinking of myself at 193. I was doing what I needed to do, like literally doing exactly what I needed to do when I would be 193. And before you know it, I'm at that point. But when I get there, it doesn't end because now I uphold these standards. That's how I stay there. That's how you stay lean. Very simple shit. All right. So staying locked in is really about your mindset and your standards. If you're not if you feel like you're not locked in, it's because you don't take your goal seriously. Number one, and number two, your standards are low as shit. You're fine. You're fine if you work out, but you don't eat healthy, or you're fine if you eat healthy sometimes, but not on weekends because you need a break. Shit like that. Just weak ass mentality, shit like that. Like that's why you're not as locked in. Like once you surround yourself with lean people, you see how locked in they are. You're gonna see exactly why your stomach's big as hell, and they can see their abs year round. Period. Lock in, fellas.